Welcome back, everybody, to the last series of Group A for VGVN 3. Our last series will feature Fake versus Xixo. And Xixo can't advance, as you can see that there's two players already with a 2-1 record. Fake still can, though, as long as he 3-0 Xixo. So while Xixo can't advance, he can play the spoiler. But he just needs to win one game, and then Fake all of a sudden will be unable to. Not to mention, if Xixo wins decisively 3-0, then he moves up to third place and once again falls one standing short of being able to advance to the next group. Kind of unfortunate for our German players here. Now, Fake did lose the head-to-head to Firebat, so if he wins 3-1, he's going to have... he won't be able to have a better record than Firebat, and because of that, he won't advance. So it's 3-0 or nothing for our open bracket player.
Yeah, I wonder, did they know that by the time they played?
Yes, the admins informed them at the time, and so Fake was aware. It's basically pick the first deck and your only deck that you need to 3-0 with. It's not like, well, I can pace myself and see what he's playing. It's, I have to see the classes that he has and pick the best class that can probably 3-0 with it.
Yeah, I would suspect him to pick Shaman for that. It seems to be the deck he has the most, affinity with. But he might just get banned because Xixo is also a Shaman player himself. So they're the two guys who seem to value Shaman more than other people. So I would imagine they're going to ban each other out.
All right, well, let's see what these guys have chosen. What Xixo has banned from Fake and taken away. And it is the Priest. And, we were saying in the previous tournament, Xixo didn't want to play against Priest against his previous lineup. And once again, he's chosen to ban Priest, which seemed to take a higher priority over the classes like Hunter. And in the meantime, just ban Hunter if it kind of comes up and there is no Priest.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, neither player banned the other player's Shaman. I was mistaken. But Fake did choose his Shaman deck to hope to 3-0.
Yeah, it's his deck that he's played the most games with. He's grinded thousands on the ladder. He's also banned the Miracle Rogue from Xixo, so he's denied possibly his worst matchup, in his opinion. Game one's about to begin. Let's see if Fake can 3-0 or will Xixo spoil the dreams of Fake, being the first open bracket player to advance to the top 4, and kind of keep it as the invited players are the ones advancing. Firebat and Calento currently sit in first and second as of right now.
Okay, decent hand. I suppose it has a big game 100 that doesn't do anything, but has a wild growth, which is probably the card you want the most, so it kind of balances it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, BGH is quite... I don't want to say useless, but I mean, it is a 4-2 minion, but it doesn't have many practical uses for its battle cry unless there's like a fire elemental that's being buffed by Defender of Argus or the Flame Tongue Totem.
Yeah, it would probably just come out on turn 5. This is a 4-2 minion, I would imagine. Or turn 4 when he has 5 mana.
I wonder.
Yeah, he's thinking about whether he coins up Feral Spirit and he chooses to go for that. He chooses the aggression here. Knowing that next turn he's only going to be able to play one of his removal spells.
Well, Xixo has a really nice ramp into his following turns, and he has he doesn't even have to necessarily play the ramp of the mana crystals because he's already so far ahead. Maybe he wants to start drawing cards and be able to keep up with the value of Shaman.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he definitely doesn't need more mana now. So he's playing this game, setting up a lot for the late game. He's going early board presence to make sure he has better turns ahead of him, which is fine. His opponent is not pressuring him at all. And look at this hand, it's pretty stacked. So he's gonna drop like a very, very good card every turn for the next 4 turns at least.
Yeah, how about that? Ancient of Lore off the top, draw more cards, ramp up, and get a card advantage over your opponent. Yeah, that sounds like a good game plan to me.
Draw all the cards.
Okay,
and that's a good one to. Or this is a good one to play because you gotta be thinking your opponent has a Hex or even your Earthshock. So you don't want to just throw Sunwalker up there, for example, which you might want to do against a different opponent. a different deck. Now this is just a 5/5. You can't get Earthshock reliably, and if they hacks it, you don't care because the other guys are all better.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think the Shaman should just kind of progress as according to schedule. Don't be too swayed by what's currently on the board. Ancient of Lore will get value no matter how you kind of cut the cookie. So just kind of let him do with what he can. In the meantime, you still have a lot of good value minions. Fire Elemental can kill off this 5/3. You have Doomhammer and you have Rockbiter, so that is a 1-win condition that's in your back pocket. And from here, maybe Fake can kind of cleverly build the board while taking down the threats. Although he is going to need something like Hex, like you mentioned, in order to take down some of these bigger cards like Kael'thasad and Sylvanas.
Yeah, I imagine it's gotta be Fire Elemental here, beating the 5/3, I think. Yeah, it doesn't really have any alternatives. You know, if that guy stays in play for a turn and is able to attack unopposed through like a taunt, then that's gonna bring him really close to Doomhammer Rockbiter range. You know, if he draws a Hex this turn, for example, for whatever taunt Xixo plays, but Xixo's gonna play 2. So he has to Hex and Earthshock to be able to get 6 damage in.
That's right, and Fake has big problems on his hands if he doesn't deal with this board. There's Kael'thasad, who can bring back Sludge Belchers and trade in, kill off whatever he does. But Fake has so many spells and cards in his hands, there's gotta be a way he can effectively deal with what's currently here.
Doesn't seem like he can. I mean, they're all spells, but you're not very good at this spot. We might see the Defender of Argus on the Fire Elemental, probably not. We're probably just gonna see another Fire Elemental this turn. You know, an attack and a Fire Elemental, and maybe, you know, Lightning Bolt to finish off the guy that's getting Fire Elemental.
You feel like you can use... Do you feel like it's too wasteful of your way to wait if you use Doomhammer and Rockbiter here? As a way to clear some of the health, and then use one of your removals like Lightning Bolt to kind of push through and clear the board?
I don't think it's too wasteful. I feel like, you know, you could think that ship has already sailed, kind of. You're still gonna get a Doomhammer for next turn anyway, it's not like it goes away. But yeah, I think Fake's play is better. You know, he's gonna lose a Fire Elemental here. Good. Yeah, chooses to deal 1 damage over deal 1 damage to his opponent. Definitely a sensible choice. You know how many 4-part guys he has in play? In hand.
Yep. This is just the first of... This is first of all a test to see what his opponent has. If he has Hex, then it's just go on Sylvanas. It doesn't go on, obviously, Ancient of War. If he has Earthshock, obviously, it doesn't go down on his other creatures as well. He's just trying to see what his opponent has. He's not really expecting Kael'thasad to survive by any means, but if he does, well, then Shaman's in for a world of hurt, considering the follow-up plays to Kael'thasad are also extremely powerful, considering their bodies are insanely strong.
Yeah, not only do you keep Kael'thasad, but also it means you can't answer any of the other guys, so... Unless that card dies now, it's probably game over. It is gonna die now, though, I imagine. You know, Lightning Storm plus an attack, or... something similar.
Okay. So he's gonna use his own health here instead of maybe using another spell. Keep his mana as high as he can. Now that he's used Doomhammer.
Yeah, very reasonable too. But at this point, it's looking very hard. Like, how are you gonna win the game? So you do have a lot of, you know, you still have that Earthshock that's gonna be super good, and you still have 2 hexes in your deck that you can just draw.
Right. The way that Shaman is supposed to kind of operate is to use cards like Hex to gain a lot of board presence. You use Hex, you attack the creature, you totem up, and Druid's going to have a little bit of a tricky, you know, way to deal with a big board. And then if they plop down something like Sunwalker, it easily just gets Flame Tongue Totem out of the game, and then Shaman's just able to outvalue you. But the exact opposite's been happening. It's like Fake has to kind of constantly try and fight even cards or even a little inefficiently in order to deal with some of these minions, and Xixo's the one getting the better of his opponent. Like, I mean, his opponent's like Fake's at 10 health because he had to keep using his health as a resource here.
Yeah, and also he hasn't been able to use his hero power at all. And I feel like the Shaman hero power is better than the Druid's hero power in this matchup, but you know, no one's been using it, so it doesn't matter that it's better. You know, it has all those cards like Flame Tongue Toad and Defender Pargas that, you know, you just needs specific situations for them to be good and just haven't came up. He has had those cards since the beginning of the game.
Yeah, this is quite unfortunate for Fake. Now, I'm trying to think of a way for him to pull out of this game. He still has the damage, but his opponent's at 26 health. So I don't see a clear way for him to get out of the woods just yet. Hex has been finally acquired, but again, Hex is, I mean, his board is not able to support a strong push after Hex other than just a Defender of Argus, which is kind of small.
Yeah, you could also, you know, play Flame Tongue Totem, but that's, you know, that's 2 more damage now on the Defender of Argus, but next turn is already the same amount of damage. At least Defender of Argus prevents your 1/1 guy from being attacked by hero power. Yeah, I like this play. It's, you leave yourself ahead on board, at least.
Alright. Fake hesitating before he uses his 3rd charge, or his 5th charge, rather. But pretty much kind of concedes that it's just optimal to kind of get as much damage as in now.
Ooh, that's pretty good. I can cast 2 big minions. You know, it breaks, you know, one of the issues he was having was that even though he has all those great cards, he could only cast 1 a turn, and every let him cast 2.
Well, but Fake still has ways to kind of go for trades. Let's see, how much damage does he have, in fact, right now? He has Earthshock, Rock Fighter, oh my goodness, Lightning Bolt.
Oh, is that lethal?
And Defender of Argus. I think that's enough because he's got exact mana to do it. Wow, that Lightning Bolt was a big draw for Fake here. Wow. Well, it doesn't. Actually, it didn't really matter because he still had. He didn't even need to use a lightning bolt. Just kidding. We weren't even counting the damage. Ha! And Xixo ends up losing the game despite the fact that he had a lot of health. And it comes down to it that the Shaman still has the burst, and that's why Doomhammer is one of the most important cards.
Yeah, I guess we were so focused on, you know, the game state that we didn't stop to realize that he could actually deal 20 damage out of nowhere.
Wow, surprising. And you know what? That's kind of what Shaman's good at doing against the Druid. And I guess that's a little bit our fault for not keeping track of the damage, but, you know, props to Fake for being able to do that and now pulls out an important win. Now, it's going up against Hunter, a deck where people said that it's supposed to be very one-sided for Hunter, and that was before a lot of the evolution of what's happened so far. That was when Hunter was still playing high mains and Shaman can get value off of Hex. But now there's a lot of smaller minions, and so it feels like you're slightly more dependent on cards like Lightning Storm and Earthshock as opposed to, you know, Hex for the high mains and getting momentum that way. I don't know how exactly Xixo Shaman stacks against this new H Hunter. So let's jump in the board and see directly if Fake's able to translate his ladder and an open bracket success to this tournament right here.
Yeah, I think both players think that Shaman is favored here. But maybe depending on this version, you know, because of this particular version of Hunter, that's not the case.
Yeah, you're looking for Earthshock, your Death Rattle minions, anything early to affect the state of the board and have something that sticks to fight with whatever can be brought. But look at the starting hand from Xixo. Other than the web spinner, it's kind of slim pickings.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Though he couldn't have done anything, you know, he mulliganed all his other cards away. It just came back as skill commands. But yeah, well, that was a good card to draw because now he has to spin a lightning bolt if he wants to stop that thing from being Houndmastered. So he does have the hacks for it the following turn anyway.
Huh? Fake picks up Doomhammer, a card that is extremely valuable against Hunter because sometimes you can basically you can win the race if you have something like Doomhammer and pick up Rockbiter throughout the upcoming turns.
Yeah, Doomhammer's a lot of damage. It's pretty absurd. But yeah, what do you do here? Do you lightning bolt the 1-2 just so you don't get Houndmaster when you have that Hex in your hand? I don't think you do. You just think you'll let it be Houndmaster. I don't know how much those players talk. I don't know if he knows Xixo doesn't have high mains in his deck or not. If he doesn't, then you're way more likely to just let him Houndmaster something.
Young Dragonhawk coming to Xixo hands. That's not going to be helpful. At least not now.
Not at all. Especially without a Houndmaster.
Something interesting to know is that this is the deck that Xixo ran to kind of counter the Hunters. So he knows its weaknesses and some of the fallbacks it has if it doesn't draw correctly. So he's able to target its weaknesses and pinpoint exactly how to defeat it.
Yeah. It's a pretty good turn for Fake here. You know, it might look like the game is even, but the way I see it, every turn that nothing is happening, the Shaman deck is pulling a little bit ahead. Because it's just... Because he doesn't have high mains. So at some point he's going to draw Undertakers and Leopard Nodes aren't going to be good. You know, if he was at least using his hero power as turns pass by with nothing happening, then that would be different, like he did this turn. But if the turns pass and no one does absolutely anything, that definitely favors the Shaman deck.
Yeah, I think so as well. Hunter is supposed to build on its momentum on the board and use its creatures to continue to push for damage while removing whatever comes up. Now, Xixo does have Unleash the Hounds. That card can be extremely valuable against Shaman, but still not really piecing together anything. He's got damage in his hand and Young Dragonhawk.
He needs a Buzzard. Yeah, at this point... Yeah, again, not having high main has proved to be a very big problem for all those Hunter decks. Because as much as they're built for the early game, so are the other decks, so they don't let it get to the early game. Sorry, they don't let it end in the early game. You know, you always end up getting to the late game, and then you have nothing you want to draw. So, you know, it is definitely a cost. You know, just building your deck for trying to be as good as you possibly can in the early game, and then you suffer the late game for that. And again, no Buzzard.
Yeah, no Buzzard. Has Unleash. That's about
Yeah.
it.
Hunter's Mark or Kill Command? It's like it's going to be Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, it's Hunter's Mark, and unfortunately, his trap popped before he was able to get any bow charges as well, so he's missed out a little bit of damage. And that damage does add up, but at the same time, he has 10 damage in hand with 7 mana. So if he can sneak in another 10 damage over the course of a couple turns,
it's interesting.
Heals.
Interesting that he chose to attack, you know, chose to trade 1/1 so he could hit for 3. Showing that, you know, he really wants just to go for the face, which makes perfect sense with his hand.
Yeah, he doesn't want to let it get Defender Vargas. Then he'd be in a tough trade situation. Oh man, he gets Undertaker. It's just one of these situations where, again, you just get some of the worst possible cards you can, but that's partially the drawback. I mean, this deck can win. Don't be fooled. Like, it's not like Hunter's bad by any means. It's just the fact that he kept getting bad starts, and now he's paying for it by drawing it in the mid game when he needs better cards.
Yeah. So he chose to use the Kill Command, so he's kind of abandoned the whole, you know, kill you with direct damage strategy, which I'm not sure is going to work for him because his opponent has 7 cards. So if I'm Xixo, I'm thinking, how am I going to win this game? I'm thinking I'm going to double Kill Command on my opponent, but he felt like, you know, he could actually... At this point, you have to think, can I win the game if I kill the Drake? And he's thinking that he can. You know, he can just top deck something and win the game without that 4/4 there.
Well, there still is damage, Leroy. I guess Leopard Gnome is direct damage too, but then it's gonna get Earth Shocked.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're walking and drawing direct damage, then you should probably keep the Kill Command. The fact that he used it means that he thinks, again, he can win a fair fight. You know, he can win this game without just going for his opponent. Also, the fact that, you know, as long as that Drake attacking him takes turns away from him, in which he could be using hero power and translating that into more damage anyway. So there's definitely an upside to killing the Drake and just surviving for more turns here.
Oh no, Xixo gets Huffer and he immediately concedes. It's just not his game with the Hunter, and Shaman once again trumps the Hunter. And you know, the Hunter win percentage in VGVN 3 hasn't been the highest, that's for sure. And we're gonna go down to a Shaman mirror match, both labeled Xixo Shaman card for card.
Yeah, so can Fake do it? I mean, if he wins now, he actually overcomes Firebad.
That's right. Will he be the first player to go through the open bracket and advance to top 4? Will he use Xixo Shaman deck to 3-0 him?
Ooh, now at least they both have Harrison Jones for those Doom Hammers. It's gonna be interesting.
Yes. That'll be amazing if you can pop it off and draw 6 card and overdraw and threaten the elements. Game 3 is about to begin. Will Fake close it out here and advance to the top 4? We find out right in this game right here. Let's go to the mulligans and see how these guys are opening up. Now, granted, I feel like Xixo's opening hands with Hunter have been pretty poor, but maybe his Shaman can carry him through. Some of the key cards in the Shaman Mirror are Lightning Storm, so that way you can clear everything. The Totem buildup is very important, so for cards like Flametongue Totem to get value. And then, of course, ways to keep up in the card advantage. Manatide Totem / Azure Drake are also valuable cards as well.
Yeah, this matchup seems very, very hard to play. I mean, they're both, I'm sure, super experienced Shaman players, so it's probably not that hard for them. But if I were to pick up a Shaman deck and play the mirror match, I would find that very, very hard. Because there's so many things that matter, so many small details. You know, where you place your guys, where they place their guys, and which guys you play. Like how early do you Lightning Storm? Those are all game-winning plays. And game-losing plays, more importantly.
Fake's hand looks pretty good. He's got Harvest Golems back-to-back. And Xixo doesn't look like he has an immediate response to it. And if you just let your opponent completely bully your board, you're in a tough spot.
Yeah, and he has the Harrison Jones for a Doom Hammer that Xixo does have in his hand.
Oh my god, you're totally right.
We could see it.
We will see it, for sure. It's all about the timing, though.
Yeah, maybe players are just so scared of Harrison Jones in this matchup that they don't play Doom Hammer unless they absolutely have to, or it's for the kill. It is only one, so sometimes you just hope they don't have it. I hope that's what happens in this game. I want to see someone drawing 6 cards.
Oh, when it does, it's glorious. Xixo's going to try and get his Defender of Argus to contest on the board, but he knows that it's going to be really difficult to kind of rebound and get full value off of this. And, oh man, Fake has a second Defender of Argus to kind of push through, clear the board. This is going to kind of provoke an early Lightning Storm of some kind. And this is going to be tough, because it doesn't even fully clear the board. Even if it rolls high. If it rolls low, there's going to be 3 minions that survive.
Yeah. Oh, it rolled high to one that mattered.
Alright.
Yeah, so he does have the other Lightning Storm in hand if it comes to that. It probably not, because he rolled a 1/1 totem, so he can just attack with one. Yeah, but definitely he doesn't want to spend all his Lightning Storms here, because that would make his opponent free to do whatever.
Oh man, Xixo having to spend both of his Lightning Storms this early is very... I mean, he gets the clears, but now his opponent knows that he has freedom to play things like Feral Spirits without fear of mass removal unless his opponent has a surprise card. And now this is a big advantage for Fake.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he can just jam everything that he draws and know that it's not going to be a big issue. He's not going to get his board clear. The same as when you're playing against Hunter and they play 2 Unleash the Hounds. They're like, oh my god, okay, this is perfect. I can't lose now because they can just play whatever.
Alright, Fake pulling his Azure Drakes and his Doom Hammer. Now, as much as you are excited to Harrison Jones, your opponent's Doom Hammer, and you know you're playing against Xixo, the guy who, well, you're taking his deck and trying to put it in tournament play, You have to be mindful of your opponent's Doomhammer as well, or Harrison Jones, excuse me, and not lose too much there.
Yeah, unclear if he actually wants to draw 6 cards here because he already has so many cards in hand. But yeah, it's gonna be sweet if it happens. Probably just, I imagine he wants to play Iron Drake and Totem here. You know, just hit for 4. Add more to his board. You know, his opponent can't. He could, but you know, it's probably not gonna kill every single one of your guys. He has to kill the Taunt Totem, then the Flame Tongue Totem, and then the Manatide Totem. So you probably give it to get some value at least. Or you could play 2 Flame Tongue Totems and kill the. About that, but that's even worse.
Yeah, you give up both bodies of your totems to do that. So this is a compromise. That way he can get some damage in. And again, he's not afraid of Lightning Storm. And Manatide Totem is starting to stack up the cards so that if he trades inefficiently, which it looks like he might have to, it's going to be kind of difficult to bounce back.
Yeah, he could actually kill all the minions here. Like he could, for example, Earthshock the Taunt guy, then kill the other 3 with Attack, Rock Beater, and Lightning Bolt. Or just Doomhammer. As much as he might be afraid of Harrison Jones, I think he should probably just play the Doomhammer now.
Yeah, the idea is that the longer you wait, the higher chance he has to have something like Harrison Jones. Yeah, oh man, and we're going to see a lot of cards drawn. Because it's not about the drawing the cards, it's the fact that you take away 6 charges, 12 damage from your opponent at least.
Yeah, definitely. And the longer you wait, the more your opponent can use those cards. Because right now, even if he takes it away, you know, he's just going to overdraw by like 4 or 5. But if you wait a bunch of turns, then he'll have 2 or 3 cards in hand and actually be able to make use of all the new cards he draws.
Oh man. Well, this one's going to be fun to watch. As Xixo is not, he hasn't been happy with how things have been panning out, and he's one of the more reactive players on the webcam. At the same time, how many cards do you draw? You draw 6, and you're holding 8, I believe, so you're going to overdraw a pretty significant amount.
I'm sure he would much rather have Acidic Ooze there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because then you could play Ooze and Fire Elemental. Okay. Now you're barely overdrawing. You're going to have 1 extra card, I believe.
Yeah, and 1 more for your next turn. But it's fine. You know, the game is not going to go to fatigue at this point. Your hand is still stacked.
Uh-oh.
And you got rid of the Doomhammer.
Oh, no. He only discards a Lightning Bolt as well. And Xixo's in a terrible spot.
Yeah, and there are no more Lightning Storms.
That's it. Fake 3 zeros with Shaman, and he's gonna go to the top 4, and he bumps down Firebat, marking him as the first open bracket player to advance in the top 2, as Colento has firmly secured first place off of his performance, and Fake will join him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh
that
man,
sucks for
poor
Firebat, but
I didn't even realize he was 0-9 this tournament. That is not a good showing for the root player. He's much better than his record suggests. Don't be fooled. In fact, he's the only player to play in all 3 tournaments, and for good reason. 2 of them he's qualified from the Open. But a rough end to the tournament for him.
He's had some pretty bad draws, I feel. Like, especially his Hunter draws could have been so much better. And they just weren't there. You know, his deck just wasn't capable of doing what he was designed to do because he drew so poorly. Then he ended up looking like a horrible deck, but we know it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be 0-9, but then you're also ushered out of the tournament by the deck that you posted and created and shared with the rest of the people. So a little bit of a sting, but you know what? If I know Xixo, he's going to use this as motivation to train harder and come back stronger for the next tournament, which most likely will feature him coming from the open bracket of some kind. So well played to Group A, but we have Colento and Fake advancing to the top 4 for day 3. Now, normally in the VGVN tournaments, we'd be done for the day, but we have the beginning of Group B that's going to be coming back at 6 p.m. Eastern, so in 15 minutes. So we'll have a few more group games of Group B, so don't go anywhere, guys. Just take a few minutes to reset yourselves. Find out more about your chance to win the Zeus Mini at the link. Type giveaway in the chat. Or if you missed some of the matches, you can go back for a few minutes and check out the YouTube VODs and see what games you missed and catch up on all the action. We'll see you guys at 6 p.m. Eastern.